4 films from the 48-hour film project. Afterwards, we'll have a little Q&A. Enjoy the films. Thank you.
Yes.
People here, if there's one person from each team, because there was 4 films, so thank you all for coming out tonight. Okay, here we are. We've got 3, I think, and here's our 4th. Okay, please give them a round of applause. Great. We'll keep this short because we have the awards party to attend right just across the street at the Avant-Garde after this, and you can come along. It's totally free. You'll even get a free drink, and you can find out who's won what awards. But let's start. Can you each please say your name and the name of the film you worked on, okay? And we'll start.
Hello, my name is Leslie Francis, and I was in the film. I was involved in the film Velma Hat, if you remember the film name, and I was one of the script writers. The other one, unfortunately, couldn't be here tonight.
I'm Alison Smith. I was involved in the Sweetest Thing, and very last minute, the day before, I was supposed to just be producer. I became director of photography, and it was all hands on deck. And Maria should be in, who's also director, should be in here somewhere.
I'm Catherine Muir, and my film was The Void, and it was a really fun experience to take part in this. My first time with a 48-hour film.
First of many, we hope. We'll see.
I'm Eric Robertson. Our film was 26.
Okay, give them a round of applause, please. All right. And for yourselves, for anyone who worked on the films. Okay, does anyone have a question for these filmmakers? Yes.
Yeah, I've got a question for everybody. So we all want to be better. So can I ask, what was one thing that we learned each from the project? One thing maybe we'll do differently or we learn?
Myself first. Well, really for me, it was my first experience doing something like that. I mean, I've done a few bits and pieces before with script writing. However, with a team, that was a challenge because some had a lot of experience, some didn't. So it was a kind of mix, but it was fantastic that we were all able to work together and come together and be involved in this project. So I would say just generally, for me, or for us, I was really thinking about what sort of things to kind of include. I had a sort of death theme, but I just wanted it to be kind of representative of everyday life. Yes, we're deaf, however, this is just generally our film. So we all have, our skills, the same as everybody else, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that was really it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For our team's Back on Motion, it was my first time being involved, and then the whole team was completely new team, so we'd never met before. Maria came in on the Thursday because I know she was coming to the Friday, and I was trying to get involved. And then on the Friday, discovering we had no camera, and it was really hands on deck. It was meant to be really flexible. It was a tight space in the kitchen. Discovering, maybe look at the kit beforehand, this proper lights, but they're really, really wide, so it took up half the kitchen. We lost 3 hours, we lost about 3 hours trying to sort of set up. So I think we really prepared. We didn't have a clapper board, so we had to improvise. So things like that, sort of, all the things that could fall apart, but we just sort of worked together and everybody was just game. I was using the iPhone with Filmic Pro. My mobile died halfway through with the 7th scene, which we then had to get uploaded onto another mobile. So all these things take time, but you just have to sort of go with the flow. And yeah, we got it in and out beforehand, so I mean we were lucky already to Darren was in America, so we had like midnight conversations. Jenny was script writing, she was in Paisley. And then the rest of the team, we'd never come together before, so we had 3 brilliant actors, and then we had backup of GoPro, but those sort of things, just being prepared. And I think the thing I would do better next time is the script list, the sort of short shooting list, because I just really, we can get put out, and there's all these things that just went a bit wrong, but we sort of got through it. Be prepared and just be flexible and remember to eat.
Probably have a crew next time, because it was just really me, my husband, my 2 kids, and a friend of mine that's a cameraman. So we kind of managed to do it all. But I think I would advertise for a crew. I don't really like to get people involved in work without paying them, and I suppose that was why we just did it between ourselves. But I think next time save up a little bit and get at least a few other people to do things.
There is a rule in the contest that unfortunately, in this situation, you're not allowed to pay people with money for this contest, because then we happen all over the world, in Los Angeles. I know we have some Los Angelinos here tonight. I don't know if you know, Hollywood is in the house. But of course you have professional people who could potentially hire professional people. But you can pay people with pizza.
That's the good currency that I know. Thank you.
For us, sound was an issue, and we were filming outside, and there was an awful lot of wind. So the editing took a very long time to try and get the sound without the wind, and doing a lot of processing on there. I think, thankfully, we rely on serendipity. So quite a few people you saw on the benches were just people passing, particularly the couple that's asking about the first movie. So they were actually on their first date. They hadn't met before at all.
Wow, first date.
First date, yes, and that was when they came out with what's your favourite film and things like that. So then quite a few of the other people on the benches were just people we approached and said, "Oh, you sit down and just have a quick conversation." So serendipity, it's a great thing to have.
So we'll be screening this at the wedding. Okay, round of applause for these amazing filmmakers. Do we have another question from the audience?
I've got a question for Catherine. Just out of my own curiosity, what was that stuff that was thrown over you?
I'd got some gloop, but I'm not very good at art department really, because I tried to make it up as per the directions and colour it, but it was just to represent all our lost poop from over the years. But when that scene was actually happening, an older lady, I believe, because my eyes were shut because I was covered in it, came up and started giving my husband and the cameraman a really hard time about what we were doing and why we were doing it. So I was like, covered in all the stuff and sat there going, oh no. So yeah, that was the kind of stress in that one little bit.
What did she think you were doing?
Well, what I could gather was she apparently thought we were trying to film something about homeless people, and she thought it would bring the house prices down. So a second person came along and sort of managed to substantiate that was what their fear was.
If there's any consolation, I don't think we knew what we were doing either.
It was just a very strange sort of bizarre instance, so maybe that'll be the theme for next year.
I would like to say that if your fecal matter does look like that, you should consult a doctor, because that's not normal. We have time for one more question, I think.
Just one more question for the deaf film. Whereabouts did you film and when? So we filmed, so we started Friday, Saturday. Friday was the event. We then kind of got to screenwriting, then handed it, I worked with the other person writing the script, and we did that in Glasgow, in the pub, of all places. And then we kind of passed that over to the next person who was responsible. On the Saturday, the team went over to Loch Lomond. So they drove about 2 hours to get there, with all our equipment and everything. And then they spent the whole day just filming. You know, they got all the shots that they needed, everything that was required. And then on the Sunday, that was when we really worked on editing, and then submitted everything after that on the Sunday. I would say for next time, one of the things that probably we could do a bit better at is maybe having a plan B, maybe more actors, you know, because some people had dropped out last minute, so I had to kind of jump in and do a little bit of performance myself, although that wasn't planned. You know, I was one of the people that was being strangled. You know, we were trying to get the right person, but some people were a bit confused about who it was. And we're just asking from the audience, was that this month? And yes, it was just last weekend. So, yeah, the entire film was made last weekend.
Very, very impressive to take out of, you only have 48 hours, so 4 hours of that was driving. So how about a round of applause for that? Yeah. So how about a round of applause for all our wonderful filmmakers and everyone who took part. If you'd like to join us for a drink, we are all going to go to the Avant-Garde. It's all ages are welcome. It's just across the street, and Alistair from GMAC will let us out of the building. So join us. Thank you. And one more time, well done.